This is part one of a part three podcast. So my mom, the Strega, we got her back on the show, you guys. She traveled in her car. She lived out of her car since May. It is now September. She drove all the way from the coast of California all the way to New Orleans, almost to the complete East Coast. She was just shy. Stopped in a whole bunch of places in between. She found work. She's basically rubber tramping it, aka means living out of your car. And this is a Subaru Outback, guys. There's not a lot of space in that thing. But she managed to drive to find a whole new different way of life. Me and her have been discussing these things of how networking, finding out, meeting people, and having this network where you can actually find work anywhere in the United States, which affords you mobility and adventure in your life. And I think in some ways a lot of stress relief, but some stresses in other ways. Tune in today to find out how she did this, what it was like, what are the pros and cons, and a little bit about what each state kind of has to offer. Welcome to another edition of Up and In It. I'm your host, Adrian Babashoff, and if you're new here and you're wondering what the show is about, it's 100% dedicated to creating a lifestyle design that benefits and improves life for Earth and people, exploring alternatives to the daily grind through liberation and independence, moving you from surviving to thriving and living life raw. All right, guys, so without further ado, this is the Strega, this is my mom, and here we go. So, shit, you've been traveling. Why don't we start with that?
Yeah, 4 months.
So what did you do? You left from here to Colorado.
Yup. Colorado. Did some work on some log cabins.
What the heck's Colorado like?
This is southern Colorado, so like half hour from the New Mexico border, so high desert. Scrub pine, scrub oak, lots of cactus. It was weird, very dry and windy, but beautiful.
What is that? What is it, Trinidad?
Trinidad was the nearest big city. I was in Weston. It's like half hour from west from Trinidad. Small town. Small town stuff.
And you had the altitude sickness.
Yeah.
I didn't know that even exists. Is that really a real thing?
Well, yeah, I mean, when I hiked Peak Whitney, that's 14,500 feet up. I got a book about it several months before I did it. And it was like altitude sickness is such a thing that most people would do Whitney in 3 stages. You go up to 3,000 foot level and you camp so you can adapt, and then you go up to another 3 and then you finish, right?
Yeah.
So it's like such a thing. People get dizzy, nauseated, throw up, pass out. There were people that literally passed out and fell off cliffs. Every year that happens at Whitney, people die.
Wow.
But I never experienced it. I camped. I've been backpacking. I've never experienced it. But that valley, for some reason, oh my God. So it was like shortness of breath, a little bit of lightheadedness, and queasy, a little queasy sometimes. The one that got me the worst was just the shortness of breath. Like doing construction, you know, normally I'd pick up a ladder, carry it over, then get up on it. And this was like, okay, get halfway there. Okay, and you wake up in the middle of the night, your heart's pounding. You know, and I was there for almost 2 months and never adapted. And I could feel it when I'd leave there and go to lower areas. As soon as I dropped down about 1,000 feet, because that was about 7,500 feet up where I was living. As soon as you drop down about 1,000, 2,000 feet, you automatically feel like you could breathe again.
Wow.
But when I went back, I didn't have that problem, and I was there for a week. So I don't know.
Colorado.
Weird. Colorado. On the way there from SoCal, passed through Arizona and New Mexico. Beautiful, beautiful red mountains. Didn't get to go up and see where the native people lived Chaco Canyon and all that. I wanted to see in New Mexico where the cliff dwellers used to be.
Yeah, that would be something.
Yeah. Tried to see that on my way back, but it was closed.
Well, what's there to do in Colorado? What were you guys up to?
Well, we went up to the higher area, about 10,000 feet. There's a ton of lakes, beautiful crystal clear lakes with beautiful woods all around, wild berries and bears and cougars, and we heard bear in the middle of the night when we were sleeping up there. Went camping, fishing, people go a lot of kayaking, went to the river, went swimming in the river. You just float down the river, get your butt beat up by the rocks.
Yeah, same like in Oregon?
Yeah. Cold, because that's all snow melt. But yeah, I mean, it was beautiful, really beautiful.
What's the culture like, the people like, and, you know, every state kind of has its different shit.
pretty low-key. I mean, anybody I've found in my life, anybody who lives in nature are generally low-key people, easygoing, very friendly, super friendly in Colorado. Everybody waves at everybody. I mean, like one of the guys that I hung out with, we're just driving along the road and there's a car coming and he stops. They stop and, he's like, hey, how's it going? And they were tourists coming through. He's like, oh, you guys enjoying your visit? And it's just literally like that. Everybody waves at everybody and hello and help, super helpful.
Yeah.
Very neighborly. People take care of their Vietnam vets, for one. They make sure they got good housing and comfortable. It's slow, if you like fast city life, that certainly isn't the place to be.
There's a lot of, like, just community out there, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Like J-Dog out there just doing shit for free. They just go out and...
Oh, yeah. They'll get a group of young guys, like, for example, is a Vietnam vet, friend of everybody there, had his legs amputated. He'd been waiting for a long time to get that taken care of. And so they happened to be working on an old hotel, and the owners of the hotel wanted this whole bathhouse and these cabins removed. Just get them out of here. So they took them all apart. They're log cabins. Took them all apart, hauled them all the way up to a site, and built a cabin, a small cabin for this guy, so he could be warm in the winter and stuff. And people donate their time and sometimes materials and stuff. So I really like that a lot.
Yeah, that's got to be nice.
Yeah, and then a lot of, just barbecues, everybody meeting at the lakes or rivers and camping together, and they all hunt and fish, so they all work together to cut up meat and make jerky and salami and everything, so there's plenty of food, that's for sure. Fresh trout, oh my God, fresh trout was amazing.
They don't have salmon up there, huh? Salmon are always by the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Elk, like you said?
Yeah, elk and deer.
You tried bear. What the fuck did that taste like?
Kind of tasted somewhere between beef and lamb, really.
Huh.
Yeah, I made a bear stew.
I always thought it would be weird. Did you try it just by itself?
No, because this had been frozen. Basically it was, we're coming on hunting season again. So a lot of people go, I've got stuff I need to clean out from last year. So they all share and just make a big barbecue or something. But this just... Jordan, the guy I was staying with, was at the local store, and some neighbor happened to be there. And he's like, hey, I got some bear. You want some bear? He's like, sure. He had it in his ice chest. So he pulled it out of his ice chest and gave it to us, and made some stew.
Oh, I've always wanted to try bear.
Yeah, it's different.
I want to try everything.
Mm-hmm.
You said you get to eat rattlesnake too?
No.
Oh.
Always wanted to, but never did, no.
So Colorado, you went on a road trip, just driving around to wherever? That's so interesting that how you made so much stuff happen, but you know a couple of people and you had places to kind of land.
Well, yeah, I went to Colorado because I was moving there one way, a whole bunch of plans we had to do a lot of different things, and I just didn't pan out for right now. People were busy doing other stuff, so then I was there almost 2 months, and I decided, okay, I'm gonna go to New Orleans.
You went from Colorado, you went to New Orleans?
Mm-hmm.
New Orleans, what the hell?
What an amazing place. So strange. So what a dichotomy. You've got big high-rise fancy buildings, and then tucked in the middle of it is old school New Orleans that you see pictures of where they make movies about and everything. Once you're in that center, that old hub, it just, you feel like you're nowhere near a big city.
Did you get to see Anne Rice's house?
I did.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't there a couple things out there involved around Anne Rice's work?
Well, yeah, the cemeteries and stuff. We didn't get to go to I forget the name of the cemetery.
Lafayette or something?
I think it might have been, yeah. But got to go on a swamp tour, see the swamp. That was really interesting with the gators.
Oh, I've always wanted to do that. Oh, you said you tried gator, right?
Oh, yeah.
What is it, the gator tail or just gator meat in general? Like,
I don't know. It just was gator.
Gator. Get some gator.
I don't think it really tastes like anything. You have to make it taste like chicken. you have to kind of. I don't know. It even had the texture a lot like chicken, so it was a white meat.
Yeah.
And it was good. They deep fry everything over there, and I'm deep fry fanatic. Deep fry it, I'll eat it.
Wow.
Had a lot of the seafood from that area too. But interesting things like in New Orleans, because they're so overrun with with flooding and everything every June, hurricane season, there's a ton, and because they're seafood oriented, over hundreds of years, they've, like, all the oyster shells, all the clam shells, all that stuff, they use that in place of gravel on roads.
Oh,
so you'll be on a road and it'll just be white shells, pure shells. I brought a few shells back. That's what I like for souvenirs, is like dead critters, and I've got little lizard skeletons and
I believe you
kididids and
use shells to take the alkaline, the acid out of like an aquaponics system.
yeah.
So I'm wondering if the water's got to be very, very low pH over there.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Gators like
Oyster shells, yeah.
it. Yeah, gators like it.
And you fucking, oh yeah, tell the story of the goddamn hurricane.
Oh my God.
What was it called? Hurricane what?
It was Barry.
Hurricane Barry.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, I know. So I roll in, unpack everything, because I'm staying for a month at a house that my daughter Katie, your sister, was house sitting. Unpack, kind of start getting comfy after 2 days, and all of a sudden we get this storm from hell.
Yeah.
I mean, it rained buckets. The house itself, all the houses there, if they're smart, are raised up off the ground a good couple feet. That water was rising up. We had to get our cars, take them to higher ground in the middle of the storm, like wading through knee-deep water on the way back. And it just floods. So I'm standing on the back porch, and I'm like, I thought I was visiting New Orleans. I had no idea I was going to be in Venice.
Yeah.
Because you could literally have taken a boat anywhere you needed to go. It's just all of it's below sea level. When you're on the levees, you have the levee and you have the Mississippi River, and then it's all set below, and you're just kind of like, wow, that seems really bad.
So they have like a levee, a dam that basically holds
All
the
the way
ocean
around.
and everything just in this big old bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And you said it's how much
And
further below sea level?
I don't remember. It's the levee itself is probably about, I'd say 20 feet, seems to me. I never really looked into the statistics, but the thing is, we had that storm.
Yeah.
So the Mississippi River swelled to just 2 feet below its overflow point, and then 2 days later, Hurricane Barry was on its way.
Yeah.
So you're talking the second Katrina, and stuff was already flooded from that rain, and then Barry was coming, so we were on evacuation notice. They have a really good system there on your phone, an alarm that goes 24 hours a day. It's like, okay, evacuate, get out now. So we had food already in the cars, we're gassed, and water and emergency, everything ready to go, and we almost evacuated, and then we were just like, nope, we didn't do it. And so it was hectic. Like, you don't really sleep. You're like, oh, we made the right decision.
Oh, hell no.
Because once that shit starts happening, But, what was cool is your sister Susanna had a friend that was inland where it's all safe.
Mm-hmm.
So, and people inland, they're like, hey, come on over, we'll just have a big party. New Orleans style,
Yeah.
Barbecue some stuff, and, she made a big to-do, and then we ended up not showing up. Felt bad, but she was like, she just made a party anyway. That's what people do there, party for whatever reason, it's a giant party.
So you, just like Oregon, when they had the tsunami warning, everybody heads to the liquor store and cleans the place out?
Exactly, that's what we did. We went and just got a bunch of booze and played cards and did some art, and while the rain kept coming and the wind and everything else, and just like, okay.
Oh my God, and you say that's your favorite place out of the couple states that you visited, huh?
Oh, New Orleans is so unique. It's just so unique. It's hard to even describe, the history of it and all the art and the creativity that's going on around, and everybody's just so relaxed, and awesome food, a lot of outdoor eating and seating, and you've got a big mix of the locals with tourists, and you go to the main hub, Bourbon Street, and it's just crazy, but tons of live music all the time, a lot of people playing music, and a lot of people just doing fun stuff.
Wow.
Doing fun stuff. So we just walked around, and you got Pirates Alley over there where, 150 years ago the pirates would hang out. It still looks identical. So you could go hang out in Pirates Alley, and you could feel it, the energy of it is just so, like I said, so unique. Went to an absinthe house, got to have absinthe for the first time down the old school over the sugar cubes.
So it's real absinthe?
Oh yeah.
We had absinthe before, and we were like, what? What is this?
Yeah.
Did it give you like a psychedelic
Make it crazier
kind
than
of,
I normally am?
Yeah, or did it take you a complete 180 and make you absolutely
Made me
normal?
Yeah, probably. It's like Jimi Hendrix used to say. They were like, you know, how do you this and that? And he's like, well, you know, a bad day for you is a good day for me because I already wake up in the morning, drink. Yeah, I feel normal.
What was your favorite part about New Orleans? What's it exactly that you said makes it the best place?
I just liked how eclectic it is.
Yeah.
Anything goes. I mean, saw some shows, some really well done shows, some tranny people doing some amazing shows where they, you know, making big political statements while expressing themselves.
Yeah.
You know, their lifestyle choices, and, you know, hung out with them afterward and talked, and just people just leaving room for everybody to be themselves. You know, it can't be too weird, put it that way.
Yeah.
You know, so pretty much anything goes. And it's just really odd because outside of New Orleans is Louisiana itself is actually quite staunch Republican, anti pretty much everything, women's rights, abortion, everything else. You know, I think if they had their way, they'd probably get rid of New Orleans in general.
Yeah.
Or just clean it up and gentrify it and get rid of the creativity. I mean, I never saw it pre-Katrina, but I've heard it's changed a lot.
You said there was definitely some racism, especially back in the South.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, New Orleans itself is very, you know, like, again, you know, you got tourists and people coming through, but the locals, everybody's pretty much, anything goes. Everybody's like a big family.
Nice.
Supports each other and stuff, and, you know, small local businesses. Did see small local businesses already going out of business, though. I mean, places that have been there for 50 years, family owned and operated, and couldn't afford to keep going anymore.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's crazy, when it flooded, the grocery store was a good, I'd say 6 to 10 inches of water inside the store. The parking lot was full. You could see the watermark the next day when we went back, and they just squeegee it out and just keep going. You know, that's what you do.
Damn. The infrastructure there's got to suck.
Yeah, well, and I had heard too that even with Katrina, the bars stayed open 24 hours and people were just sitting on stools up to their waist in water,
Yeah.
still just serving up drinks. And
Give me another one.
Yep.
You know, it'd probably be wise in a place like that to always keep cash on you so that you can go to the bar.
Yeah.
Fuck groceries.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
some real survivor people. Met a lot of homeless people on the streets that were really amazing, just really good people stuck in bad situations, and helped as much as I could. But I think what they appreciate more than anything is just sit down and talk like a human,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, really, really fun music and dancing and food. And of course, you can walk around with an open container there, so
Yeah. I like that.
yeah. Yeah, even if you bring, because you can just mix your own drink from home and carry it and just walk around the streets and have your drink or whatever. And like, being on a budget as I was, that helped. But even when you go in the bar, they don't care that you bring your own drink in. They just ask that they give you one of their clear cups.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, okay. Oh, the fried chicken. Holy moly. I dream of it.
You didn't get to do the jambalaya or jambalaya? What do they call it?
No, I'm not a big jambalaya fan anyway, though.
Isn't that with all the
Sausage and stuff.
yeah, it's like sausage
Or gumbo.
and
There's
the
jambalaya
crawfish
and
and all
gumbo.
that? Like
Yeah.
crabs, crawfish,
Well,
shrimp.
The crawfish were out of season
Mhm.
when I was there. So yeah, did the shrimp and definitely the catfish, deep fried catfish. They have all you can eat buffets over there of all this wonderful stuff, and it would have been nice to not be there in the summer because it was hot
Humid.
and humid. It rained every day. We had a crazy beautiful storm.
Rainbows?
Being in town, I wasn't able to see that much of the sky. I'm sure the rainbows were there, but I didn't see any.
Yeah.
But it still was fascinating. And then you got the katydids that start up with their noise. That sounds like a rattlesnake.
Yeah.
So it's that signature sound. We went and hung out by the Mississippi River, watched the sun go down, took our beers with us, and just played guitar and watched the sun settle on that huge river. I thought about Mark Twain going up that on the river boats back in the day. So it's a very romantic city too. Lots of mixture of old architecture and new.
I imagine it's kind of the severity of like Oregon, where you go, there's just lush green, lots of
yeah,
mushrooms
it's
and
bayou.
stuff. So it would be like Oregon, on humidity. It's got all its flowers and fauna and.
Oh yeah, that was the strange thing, was heading down through Texas. As soon as I started hitting East Texas, you start to drop down toward Louisiana as it starts just getting wooded.
Yeah.
It looked like Oregon and Washington, but felt like Hawaii.
Yeah, what a
It was
trip.
a mind trip. I was like, wow, this is amazing, you know. And then you start dropping down into the bayou, and literally, you know, you've got, you know, I'm sure people can see YouTube videos all over the place, but you know, you're on your highway. The highway's just heading straight through bayou.
Wow. What recommendations would you have people that would be traveling and visiting, or?
It depends on what that means to you. If you're a five-star hotel person, I got nothing for you.
Yeah.
If you're a fancy restaurant person, I got a few things for you.
If you're like an RV or van dweller, or like a.
Well, they've got RV parks there. I mean, they have RV parks everywhere. There's a hostel there that I considered working for. That's right on the Mississippi, and New Orleans itself, you're a good couple of hours from the ocean, and like any water source out there to cool off in is pretty much green.
Ooh.
When I was there, you know, especially.
Yeah.
So that wasn't the best ever, but heck, we just put a pool in the backyard and put a fan on and played in the pool. Just one of those little wading pools.
Yeah. That's what we've done in the past too. So that's what I do here at the beach.
Yeah.
As far as freedom goes, is there, like, because of the infrastructure and threat of hurricanes and stuff, is it pretty free to just kind of do what you want out there? To kind of, was there any like RV people living in RVs and backyards and stuff like that, or like free living?
There probably are. I didn't see any. Again, it was so hot out there. I wasn't out and about until, you know, it got dark and stuff. But
so don't visit New Orleans in the summer.
There's a ton of abandoned houses and businesses there that just got destroyed from Katrina. So just a couple doors down from Susanna's house was, you know, pretty much a meth head house. The roof was collapsing, and there was just people camping in it. Just, you know, squat the planet style. That happens all over New Orleans, and there's a large homeless amount of homeless people there as well. I did not, you know, I noticed, of course, regularly anywhere you went under the bridges were tents and homeless people set up. But anything beyond that I really didn't know. But I did research to see if there were RV parks, and there were trailer parks and RV parks in different sometimes in bad parts of town that you really want to avoid, because it is a dangerous place. East side is like, ugh, it's like a war zone. Yeah, really amazing place. Super fun. There's something going on every, you know, night and day.
24
7
hours.
days a week. Yep. Very nostalgic, you know, if you love that style. Seeing the architecture of old buildings that have survived through all the hurricanes over, 150 years old, whatever, however old New Orleans is, they survived just fine. It's the newer buildings that took a big hit.
All the different areas. And so you went from California to Colorado, Colorado to New Orleans, from New Orleans to,
Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. And I hear so much good shit from people, the internet, and you seem that you've kind of experienced something a little bit different out there, huh?
Well, yeah, the people I stayed with was, you know, I was staying in a house with a bunch of other people, and their lifestyles just didn't coordinate with mine, but it was still interesting, you know. We were right. It was, again, I was there in the summer, so it was humid and super hot. It peaked out over 100 regularly. I mean, it didn't even feel, nighttime was even like still hot and humid and lots of mosquitoes and stuff, so I didn't really get to go out and venture out too much. But oh my god, barbecue, whew.
So it is what they own up
barbecue.
to, huh?
Oh yeah, excellent barbecue. It's an interesting city. There's a lot of water. We got to go to Barton Springs, which was fabulous. Cold water is coming right out of the ground, crystal clear, and it's a big swimming hole. And that's basically, in Austin, it seems like at this point in time, was everybody's beach. And you could take your dogs there and everything, so it's just like a big ongoing party.
Pretty wide, big, like a river thing?
Yeah, it's good size. I mean, if you want to pay, you can go into Barton Springs. Is like a giant swimming pool. It's like $12 a day or something like that to go in, and so it's a giant swimming pool. But where we went, so it's a spring-fed creek coming through and they blocked it out to do the Barton Springs, the pool, but it's all rock lined. Again, you can see YouTube videos on that. But where we were is the overflow out of the paid park.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. It's wonderful. See people just floating around on floaties, and they got their dogs on inflatable boats, and lots of shade on the sides, so there's like a little beach area for kids, or if you just want to hang out in the water.
Did you take any videos of it?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really cool. I was sitting by this one little bridge thing where one of the springs feeds into the after park, and there was a guy just floated up in this big inflatable boat with his dog. Dog gets out and everything, and I look underneath the bridge. He's a homeless dude, and him and his girlfriend set up hammocks underneath the bridge. I was like, I want to live like that.
Just chilling?
Yep, just chilling.
I know those little hammock tents seem like they would just be chief, man.
Yeah. I know a lot of people use those. They're really nice. But yeah, Austin was interesting. Anywhere is interesting if you make it interesting.
So then you went from Austin back to Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
But you said some interesting things about Austin. It's legally, you can be homeless legally there. They won't fuck with you.
Yeah, they legalized homelessness. So it's kind of, in a way, I guess, has made it sort of a mecca of the homeless to go there, which is not that good. So you get a lot of meth use and drugs and stuff, so it makes it a dangerous thing. Don't be in the wrong place at the right time, or bad things can happen.
Yeah.
Anywhere, really. But I met a lot of homeless people there, and they were pretty cool.
Fuck, 100 degrees every day. Over 100, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it hardly cooled down at night, too. And then I spent time around in San Antonio as well, which is about an hour and a half south. And that was an interesting city. I wouldn't mind checking that out more. But, more water there than you think. A lot of stuff is man-made, like around Austin, and there are rivers flowing. There's the San Marcos River that flows toward San Antonio, and like people take tubes. You can rent tubes and an ice chest tube. Just float down the river. So that's kind of like a cool summer thing to do. Yeah, lots. If you like shows, man, what was Austin City Limits, that show? That's been going on, and there's a whole venue, Austin City Limits, where it's just like lots of live music and a lot of shows, a lot of good food.
Oh yeah, you got to, was that you? You got to set up for the Rolling Stones?
No, I missed that show, but I got set up for Cirque du Soleil.
Cirque du Soleil, yeah.
Yeah, that was a good, if anybody's traveling, and you're looking for work, you go to, if you're in the Austin area and San Antonio, is you go to Rhino is a company that will hire you. All you need is a pulse.
Yeah.
And an ID. But all you need is, that's all you need, and they'll put you to work. They don't ask any questions. As long as you can get to and from, you're good. But you help set up, venues and take down for concerts. In this case, it was Cirque du Soleil, so it was inside of a huge stadium that was air conditioned, which was nice because it's hot.
Oh, wow.
Worked one of them outdoors, and oh my God, that was like murder, rolling huge boxes of equipment and, setting up lighting, setting up sound, stages.
Did you get to see some of the Cirque du Soleil or no?
Nah, we just set up and then had to get out of there because that would have been hang out. It was just too warm. Yeah. It was just...
Well, shit, they would have put you right in the mix, like no makeup or nothing. Be like, hey, do your part.
Ooh, I so wanted to play on their trampolines, though. They look so fun. Yeah. Just go running across the stage, even everybody that's in Cirque du Soleil would be like, this is a new part nobody told us about. Just bounce around a little bit and bounce off the wall and just run out. Yeah, but it's such a unique feeling to be traveling across the United States. I made it almost all the way. Didn't do Arkansas and Mississippi, or I would have gotten all the way to the East Coast. But yeah, pretty amazing, Southwest. So much open land. Texas, jeez. I got probably 3/4 of the way through Texas, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm on a different planet, because this place just doesn't end.
Yeah.
It just goes and goes and goes. Some gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. Then on my way back going through Arizona, just got to go through the forest, their national forest, which is thousands of acres of just gorgeous, gorgeous pine way up in the mountains. That was beautiful.
So what is it you're doing? You're just traveling around and making it work?
Yeah, traveling around, seeing
Rubber
new
tramping.
things. Yep, all by my lonesome. Again, I knew people, so I stop in and see some people, but there's also couch surfing and there's BLM land. I was surprised that Texas is 1.5% of all that huge state of Texas is BLM land, and it's basically nothing.
Yeah.
It's a dried out sand pit, but there's BLM land, places you can camp all the way over. Was gonna head to Florida, looked at that, and then I was like, you know what, I've already done so much heat, and this was towards the end of August. I'm like, I think I've done enough heat. Take me back home to California and the beach.
So this is your first adventure of just really rubber tramping it and going long distance, huh?
Long distance, yeah, but I mean, I did Slab City. I've been to Arizona, did a little bit of Arizona stuff before. I mean, Slab City, I lived there for a year.
Yeah.
That was just pure camping out of the car. Done, San Diego Ocean Beach a little bit.
Well, how does it feel?
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would rather have a van, but working out of the Subaru is fine.
Yeah.
I've learned, over the years just kind of seasoned it up so I know exactly what I need to do. Doesn't take much, takes a lot less than you think.
What could you tell people who are afraid to do it? Just get up and road travel.
Well, first I'd say, what are you afraid of? Research it.
Yeah.
There are things that you should be afraid of, but there are also things you should be afraid of in not rubber tramping,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Whatever you're doing in your life,